A stranger kissed me at a bar and begged me to play her boyfriend for one night. Now she's my wife. It was a full, desperate 3-second kiss that tasted like red wine and panic. She pulled back and whispered, "Please, play along." Before I could even breathe, a couple stepped up behind her. Her mom wore a sharp blazer. Her dad was built like a bouncer. Both stared at me like I was a suspicious package. She smiled like we'd been together forever and said, "Mom, Dad, this is my boyfriend." My brain screamed, "Run." But my mouth said, "Nice to finally meet you." Her mom narrowed her eyes like she was calculating my net worth and said, "Interesting. We know nothing about you." Her dad crossed his arms and asked, "Name?" The woman's eyes begged me to save her, so I blurted, "Andrew. Andrew Fletcher." Her mom snapped, "Joke?" I said, "Software developer." That part was true, thank God. Her dad asked, "How did you meet?" She jumped in fast and said, "Coffee shop." I spilled a latte on his laptop. She froze, waiting for me to finish, so I smiled and said, "Best accident of my life." I asked for her number. Her mom checked her watch and said, "We have dinner reservations. You're coming." My half-full beer sat behind me like a farewell letter, and somehow, I said, "I'd love to." Outside, she finally breathed and whispered, "I'm Sophia." They arrived 3 days early. I panicked. I lied about having a boyfriend. I stared at her and said, "You picked a random guy?" She said, "You were the closest person who looked reasonably dateable." I said, "Wow, romantic." She winced and admitted, "I deserve that." At dinner, her parents grilled me like an interview. Where I grew up, my family, my plans, my intentions. Sophia started sprinkling in fake memories to make it believable, talking about a movie we supposedly watched in a restaurant with terrible service. She built a relationship out of thin air, and I somehow kept up. I could have ended it right there, but instead I reached for Sophia's shaking hand under the table and said, "My only intention is to make her happy." Her dad studied me, then nodded and said, "Good answer." By the end of the meal, her mom hugged me and said she was glad Sophia had someone who made her lighter. Her dad squeezed my hand and told me to take care of her. Then they left, and the acting stopped. It was just Sophia and me on the sidewalk, quiet and confused. I asked about the phone call during dinner. She swallowed and said it was her ex, the one her parents still thought she was dating. I asked what he wanted. She said, "He's engaged." After 6 weeks, her voice cracked when she added, "To a corporate attorney." And suddenly I understood. This wasn't just a silly lie. This was a girl trying not to feel like a failure. I should have walked away, but instead I said, "Let me buy you a real drink." No parents, no pretending. We went back to the bar, and this time we told the truth. About her fear, my loneliness, her messy choices, my quiet life. She saved my number and texted instantly, "Hi, it's your fake girlfriend." So I replied, "Hi, it's your fake boyfriend, who wants to be real." At 11 p.m., she asked if I was asking her on a real date, and I said we already did the pretending part, so we should try the real part. The next morning, we met at the same coffee shop from our fake story. She smiled and called me her fake boyfriend, and I called her my fake girlfriend, and somehow it felt easy. 3 weeks later, she called her mom and told the truth. Everything from the kiss to the lie to the random stranger at dinner. Her mom went quiet, then sighed and said she was processing, but that I sounded kind. Sophia cried, and I squeezed her hand and told her I was glad she grabbed me. Months passed, and the fake relationship turned into the most honest one I'd ever had. No games, no pretending, just two people who said yes to something weird. 1 year after that night, I brought her back to the bar. Same spot, same lights, same bartender. I got down on one knee and told her she made me pretend for one night, and it became the most real thing in my life, and asked her to marry me. She didn't let me finish. She just said yes. And now I'm still the guy she grabbed at a bar. Every anniversary, we go back to that bar, and we still laugh.